Bromley FC, League One. Wow. Doesn't that sound great?
Sounds amazing.
What an incredible achievement for Andy Woodman and his team as Bromley secured their League One status for next season. Andy Woodman, League Two, Sky Bet League Two Manager of the Year as well. We saw him up on stage at the EFL Awards on Sunday evening, looking pretty happy with things and also looking like he still can't really believe it, despite him being ambitious, I guess, before the season started, and himself apparently telling his team the promotion was the aim. So Andy Woodman says that he saw this coming. Do you believe him?
I do believe him. Yeah, I really do. The more that I speak to and hear from people involved at Bromley FC, that the more this genuinely is barely held up by them as some sort of miracle. I think we want to project that because it's a small club. They'd never been in the EFL until last season, and now they're a League One club. But genuinely, the level of confidence and belief completely stands out, and it's not unfounded. It's not blind optimism. It's not blind faith. This was a group of people who, just because other people didn't think that they were big dogs for the league, just because other people didn't think that they had experience at this level that was going to help them, they seemingly knew that if they could stick together and if they could keep improving and kind of developing as a group of players and staff, that they could get better. Like 11th place finish in their first season was a strong finish, and if you look at it now with the benefit of hindsight, 17 wins, 15 draws, 14 defeats. They didn't lose many games last season. They were still very competitive. Reminds me a bit of Oldham coming up this season. They haven't quite made the playoffs, but clearly a very competitive team at the very least, have not lost the sort of promotion momentum, if you like. The one thing that gave us pause for thought, and hands up, we did not see this coming for Bromley, and I don't want it to come across like we did. There was a rumour of a Michael Cheek transfer request in the summer, and I still don't quite know what happened there and what the reality was, whether that was a thing that rocked the boat or not. Whatever the case was, Michael Cheek's been a Bromley player all season, more than happily, has scored plenty of goals, but that at the time felt like it might be an issue for the team. Look, the fact that this has happened is a celebration of kind of the beauty of the sport, really, and what you can achieve all together, and we'll go through some of the individuals involved, but this really is a collective achievement, and it's great to celebrate that.
Yeah, I mean, incredible, as you say. And it's one of those funny things where we always sit at the beginning of the season and you think about who could be a dark horse. And Bromley was certainly that, because, you know, last season at times they were very good. Their style of play felt like it was one that could easily be successful. But you think of a dark horse, you know, they might sneak into the playoffs. You don't think they're going to be top of the league with a couple of games to go and possibly winning the division. How much of this do we put down to the gaffer, the manager? Would he?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he would certainly say that the owner, Robin Stanton-Gleaves, gives him exactly the backing that he wants, has had vision and ambition for the club, and has, quite sensibly built things up, and that's not just on the football side, but has built the club up in terms of its infrastructure and its facilities, and that all gives the vibe of an upwardly mobile club. And then it's down to the head coach to kind of roll things out on the pitch, and Woodman's obviously done that in an unbelievable way. I mean, he's been Bromley manager for quite some time now. He's obviously really got his feet under the table. 5 years now. Only Nigel Clough and Simon Weaver in the EFL have managed their team for longer, and it took a bit of time for him to have like a big impact. And there was a big moment in January 2022. Andy Woodman spoke to Gillingham, and the vacant head coach job. Bromley said, look, we don't want him to go. We like him a lot, but we have to let him speak to Gills. For whatever reason, he didn't go to Gillingham. And what an incredible decision that has panned out to be, looking at the trajectories and the way that both clubs operate. They won the FA Trophy a few months later. They beat that Wrexham team in 2022. They won promotion 2 years later, and now promotion to League One. So Woodman, of course, like if you take Woodman out of this, if he leaves tomorrow and becomes the Gillingham manager, like trying to replace him and expect the team to continue would be a huge ask. A lot of this is down to what he's built in terms of the core of the squad that he's put together, and finding a style of play that suits them and allows them to win football matches. Like, people talk about style of play in so many different ways, but the aim of football is to win points and win games, and no one's done that better than Bromley this season. Unbeaten at home in their 22 league games so far. Funnily enough, Cambridge actually have a better home record on points per game, 13 wins and 9 draws for Bromley, but they've avoided defeat, and away from home the 4th best record. The style of play is extreme. There's no getting away from it. They have the lowest pass completion in the league. They've completed the fewest successful passes in League Two, and set piece goals have been a huge part of their arsenal. It's probably the thing that nudges them to being a top 3 team rather than a playoff challenger. 29 set-piece goals is the most in the division. Last season, they had the second most. This isn't a flash in the pan. This is something that they have strategized and executed. But it's not just that. They've got 29 goals this season from their 2 strikers, Michael Cheek and Nicky Kabamba, both penalty box killers with presence and size as well, happy with direct play and very, very good at finishing chances inside the box. They get the ball into the box as much as any other team, and those guys do what they were put on God's green earth to do. That is no fluke. That is no surprise. Kabamba coming to the fore this season has been fantastic for them because of Cheek's injury and giving him a bit of a rest. Previous seasons, Cheek was doing all the goal scoring on his own. It's not just that either. It's not set pieces and Michael Cheek or Nicky Kabamba. They get goals from midfield as well. They are good on the break. Of course, it's about set pieces and crossing in the main, but they do break really well. They've scored a lot of counter-attack goals this season. A lot of energy in midfield. 15 goals from their central midfielders. Thompson, Hondermark, Charles, Crowhouse, Arthurs. That's a lot of goals from your midfield cohort. So that's where the attack comes from. But what I like about them out of possession is they're not like a deep block team. They're not just, as soon as we give the ball away, we're going to hunker down, and when we get it, we'll pump it forward. It doesn't look like that at all. They press high. They have a high line. They engage really high up. They suffocate teams. They are exceptional in duels all over the pitch, second balls, tackles, headers. They win those more often than not, or more than the other team, and that's what, over the course of a football match, nudges tight games in your favour. They get into the positions that they want to be in, down the flanks, into Mitch Pinnock. Can he deliver a cross? Oh, yeah, either yes, and that's been delivered with quality, there's bodies in the box, or, it's been deflected out for a throw-in or a corner. Bingo, we're the best in the league from these situations. Really good when it comes to winning the ball off the opposition. You can get through Bromley. That's the thing to say. Like, there's no perfect team at this level, and they aren't a perfect team. You can get through Bromley because of their high line, and they're not the quickest centre-backs. But in order to do so, because they are so intense and so in your face, you have to basically get 3 passes right in the space of about 4 seconds. And if you do, you can unlock them and you can be in. But if you don't get it right in the first few seconds of your possession, you're probably not going to create a big chance against Bromley, because once they've got you boxed in and funnel you out wide, good luck. You're not creating a big chance. So they've not been unbelievable defensively, but they've been certainly good enough. Like, they force you to be excellent in order to hurt them, and not all teams at this level can be excellent.
You've mentioned a few of the key players there, and if I'm honest, I struggle to see many that would be of interest to League One clubs, to other League One clubs. But then, because of the very particular style of play that we see Bromley, adopt, and they will continue to do so next season, do you think they need wholesale changes over the course of the summer?
Well, I would expect some fresh blood for sure, and that's partly because I think they might come into a bit of difficulty, George, in something that they can't really do much about. As I understand it, a lot of the guys, and just to talk about some of the core players, Cheek joined in 2019. He's been their top goal scorer for 6 seasons, 16 goals a season minimum over every season for 6 seasons. But he's not the only one. Charles at the base midfield, Omar Shomi at centre-back, Byron Webster's been there a long time, more of a kind of leadership figure now. Whiteley as well has just been there for ages. The problem, as I understand it, is a lot of these guys are still on basically the same contract that they were on in the National League.
Yeah.
And they are now playing at a level where the average wage of a League One player, let's say, is like $3,500. And the average wage of Bromley in the National League and in League Two would more likely be more in the £1,000-1,500 region. These are guesstimates, but I'm just trying to give an idea of the jump up financially. And some of these contracts will be up this summer. And so Bromley have this really interesting conundrum. They understand the value of this unit, understanding exactly how to play under Andy Woodman. In order to retain and renew some of those contracts, they are going to have to jump those guys up 2 or 3 times their wage just to keep them. So they might think, well, hold on, financially that doesn't make that much sense. We think we might be able to attract better players than these guys. But to bring anyone in, now they're in League Two, their starting salary is going to be way beyond what they're currently playing players. That can upset the apple cart a little bit. It can make your playing budget a little bit wonky. You need a pretty strict wage structure when you're a club like Bromley, of the size of Bromley, and that is a huge challenge for the recruitment team. And I don't exactly know how it's going to go. I'm sure they will recruit, and they've had good success. They've had a bit of an edge in recruitment that we discovered a few months ago, and that is essentially targeting the huge amount of professional players who've come from London, Essex and Kent. These areas feed into Bromley, where they are based, in South London, and a huge proportion of their squad come from this part of the world originally. A lot of times they are looking at guys who've maybe moved to, let's say, the Northwest or the Midlands to play, and they maybe miss home and they want to come back towards home. And guess who's there? Bromley FC of League One. Like, it's a pretty attractive thing. That's how they were able to get Mitch Pinnock. I'm confident of that. He's known for being from this area, close ties to the area, but he found himself in Northampton. Bromley, why don't you come home, Mitch? You can play for us in League Two. And guess what? He'll be back in League One with them next season. But they've done pretty well with young players as well. This isn't just like a big grizzly direct set piece team that have a load of old dudes who are just really savvy. Not at all. They need the energy for the play style to work, and they've had a lot of young players that have had success. They've sold Kellen Fisher to Norwich. They sold Ben Crowhouse to Brentford. These are Bromley Academy kids that they sold to Premier League and Championship clubs. Not many clubs of their size are selling 19, 20-year-olds to Premier League and Championship clubs. And then there are the guys that are still there. Jude Arthurs is 24, has been there for years. Idris Odeteo has become an established player, having never really done much at senior level. Marcus Eiffel, the right back, is just the latest example of this. So in pretty much every feasible playing field, Bromley have got it right. And obviously, when you compound all of those things and you're getting things so right across so many different aspects of running a football club, when you have this leader that has everyone singing off the same hymn sheet, a style of play that is completely repeatable, you can do pretty amazing things. They'll go to League One next season. They'll be massive underdogs. But they should believe in themselves. The bottom of League One is not that scary initially anyway. Most teams that go up stay up in their first season, and the most comparable teams to Bromley in terms of their size would be Accrington, who were in League One for 5 seasons, would be Morecambe, who improbably stayed up in their first season before going down in their second, would be Burton Albion, who went up and have been at that level and higher ever since. So it is not the case that because Bromley are small and they have a small fan base, they can't establish themselves at League One level, but they'll have to continue to do a lot of things incredibly well. That's what's got them to this point. We've loved covering them over the last 2 seasons, and we'll be doing so on Not the Top 20 in League One next season. Can't wait for that. Let us know what you think, Bromley fans. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well if you're watching us on YouTube. Enjoy the celebrations, enjoy the summer, and League One next season. Cheers. Go well.